Chapter 1. The Monster from the Deep. I am Professor Aronnax. My job is to study everything dead or alive under the sea. I see beautiful and ugly things down there. But there is one strange experience that stays in my mind like a nightmare. It was 1867. Some sailors said that they saw a dangerous giant monster living in the cold waters of the ocean. Some ships tried to find it and kill it, but they never returned. People said it looked like a whale.
It was 300 feet long. Water came out of its back. It was like a big underwater explosion.
The largest whale was only 180 feet long, and if these men were right, this was even larger. I was famous because I was the writer of a book called The Mysteries of the Great Ocean Depths. When the captain of the American ship, the Abraham Lincoln, decided to leave and look for the monster, he asked me to go with them as an expert. The idea was very exciting. I invited my faithful assistant and good friend, Conseil, to go with me. He always helps me to organize the names and places of the wonderful, strange sea creatures that we find in the oceans of the world. He accepted the invitation, and we got ready to go. The Abraham Lincoln left New York Harbor on the 3rd of July, 1867. 500,000 people were there to say goodbye. Ned Land, the famous whale killer, was also on the ship. Farragut, the captain of the ship, was a strong and brave man. When we first met, he shook my hand and smiled at me.
Don't worry, the ocean isn't big enough for both the sea monster and me. I'll kill it or it'll kill me. All I know is that one of us will die.
I didn't like this idea, but I didn't say anything at the time. We sailed for 3 months, and we never saw the creature once. The men wanted to find and kill the sea monster, but after all this time, everyone on the ship started to believe that there was no monster. And then, it happened. It was night time, and we were 200 miles off the coast of Japan, when suddenly, Ned Land, the harpooner, cried out,
There it is! Don't lose it! I want it dead or alive!
The men on the ship began to run and shout.
Get the rope! Prepare the cannons!
The creature looked as if it was asleep. We could see it because there was a strange light under the water. Then, a cannon fired at the monster. A cannonball hit it, but it didn't move. Captain Farragut didn't know what to do.
My God! If a cannon can't kill this monster, what can?
Just then, I saw Ned Land with his harpoon in his hands climbing to the front of the ship. Everyone watched him silently. I saw the harpoon leave his hand and hit the giant creature right in its back. Water shot out of the wound. Its force knocked me right out of the ship into the dark, cold ocean. Chapter 2. Saved from the Ocean. I found myself underwater. It was very cold, and I tried hard to get to the top and breathe. When my head was finally above the waves, I saw that the Abraham Lincoln was more than 100 feet away.
Help! Help!
No one could hear me. My clothes felt heavy in the water. I felt something touch me on the leg. I was terrified. I thought it was a shark, or even the monster.
Sir, are you all right?
Thank God, it was my faithful assistant, Conseil. Conseil, my boy, what are you doing here?
When I saw you fall into the water, sir, I felt it was my duty to follow you.
But why did you risk your life to save mine?
Your life, sir, is more important than mine.
Thank you. You are a true friend. But what happened to the ship?
I'm afraid the whale hit the ship, sir. It can't turn around.
It was true. The Abraham Lincoln moved away from us. It couldn't turn back. It was dark, and we knew that we had to stay in the water for the night. We hoped that in the morning, someone from the ship could see us, if we were still alive. We were tired. We tried to help each other swim. The moon came out from behind the clouds, and we saw that the Abraham Lincoln was too far away. Just then, we felt we couldn't swim any longer. At that moment, I touched something hard. I thought it was a rock, but then I realized it was metal. Conseil and I held onto it, and then we heard a voice.
Hey! Here!
It was Ned Land's voice, but we couldn't see him. We tried to move onto this strange metal object to get close to him.
It's me, Ned. Ned Land.
Did you fall into the water too?
I sure did, and it was a good thing I landed on this. I landed on the monster.
Monster? You mean we're on the monster?
Yes, and it's moving. Only it's no monster. It's a ship.
He was right. What all of us thought was a large whale was a 300-foot-long underwater ship. Ned sat on a platform which was on top of the ship. We knocked on the ship's sides, but they were too thick, and no one heard us. We heard the noise of the ship's engine.
I only hope it doesn't go under the water.
The mysterious ship began to sink before Ned finished his sentence.
Help! Help! Help!
Suddenly, the ship stopped sinking. A short man in strange black clothes opened a secret door on the top of the ship. When he saw us, he ran back inside, frightened. 2 minutes later, 6 large men with black masks came out, took us by the arms, and took us down inside the ship. Chapter 3. Inside the Nautilus. They took us through a long, dark tunnel. We could see nothing around us. They put us into a dark room, then closed the door behind us. A light came on. The room was empty. It only had a table and 5 chairs in the middle. Ned Land got very angry.
They mustn't treat me like this. I didn't do anything wrong. I'm getting out of here. You hear me? I want out!
Ned screamed at the locked door, but no one answered his call.
Don't use all your energy, Mr. Land. We may need it later.
Quite right, Conseil. As usual, you speak with your mind and not your heart. The door opened again after some minutes. 2 men stood there in front of us. One was tall, with dark, serious eyes. The other was short. He looked at us without any interest. The 2 men wore black hats and shoes made from sealskin. Their clothes looked thin and comfortable. They spoke a language which I did not understand. I spoke to them in French, German, and English. I told them our story, but they did not seem to understand. Mr. Land got angry again.
You listen to me. You let us off this ship, or...
There's no reason to be angry, Mr. Land. It is I who should be angry with you.
The tall man was calm, and he spoke perfect English. He surprised all of us, and we didn't say a word.
You are on the Nautilus. I am its captain, and my name is Captain Nemo. This ship and my own life is a secret to the outside world. I do not want to see that world again. I live here under the sea. You will stay here with me, but you will have the same freedom everyone else on the ship has.
What does that mean, Cap?
That means that you are free to see all the wonderful things under the sea. No man in your world can ever see these things. I am saying, gentlemen, that you are very lucky.
You mean we'll never go home again? That's impossible.
Mr. Land, you gave me no choice. I do not want anybody to know my secret. You attacked my ship. You found me. Now you must do what I say.
Ned Land was not happy at all. I can only say that I was very interested in this strange man. Where did he come from? Why did he leave our world? Captain Nemo spoke to the short man in a strange language. Then the short man left us. Then he tried to be friendly.
You will not find life on the Nautilus so bad. We have wonderful food, and your rooms are very comfortable.
The captain showed Ned and Conseil to their rooms, but he stopped me for a moment.
Professor, may I show you something?
Why, of course. Captain Nemo took me down to the bottom of the Nautilus, where there was a room like a large museum. It had pictures by famous painters on the walls and glass cases with beautiful shells from the sea.
I read your book, Professor. You know a lot about sea life. You see, I enjoy sea life.
You have things here that most people only read about, Captain.
Well, I enjoy this room, but what I really prefer is looking out there.
The captain pressed a button, and two of the walls opened up. Behind them, there were large glass windows looking out onto the sea. A white light coming from the ship made everything easy to see. I stood in front of the window like a small boy at the zoo, and believe me, I didn't feel at all like Captain Nemo's prisoner. Chapter 4. Outside the Nautilus. The Nautilus traveled underwater, watching the mysteries of the ocean. The captain and his crew were excellent hosts. They gave us wonderful seafood, and we were free to visit any place we liked on the ship. We traveled near the coasts of Australia and Papua New Guinea. I enjoyed seeing all the strange sea life of these waters. I had enough information to write a new book. But Ned Land was not happy on the Nautilus. He was a whale hunter, and his life was above the water, hunting whales. One morning, he asked Conseil and me to go to his room to talk.
I want to talk about our escape.
Our escape? We're underwater. How can we escape?
Not now. This ship goes above water every 2 days to fill it with clean air. When we're near land, we have to try to escape.
The waters we are in now are full of sharks, Mr. Land.
I know that, Professor. We'll wait. When we get close to a country we know, we'll try to escape.
How will we leave the Nautilus? Ned Land had no time to answer this question. There was a loud crash, and we all fell to the floor. The lights went on and off, and the engine stopped. The top of the Nautilus was just above the surface of the water. I saw Captain Nemo on the platform outside the ship. The ship was between two large rocks, unable to move. We had to wait 6 days for the water to rise before the ship could leave. The captain didn't seem at all worried.
The sea brought us here. The sea will take us away.
We were very close to Papua. I could see it from the ship. Ned Land asked the captain if we could go on land and hunt some animals, because he didn't want to eat fish. Captain Nemo let the three of us go. This didn't surprise me at all. There were only cannibals on Papua. We couldn't escape because they would kill us. There was a small boat on the Nautilus which we used to get to land. Captain Nemo gave us guns, and we were all excited to return to land and feel free again. The beach of Papua was beautiful. It had soft, white sand and 200-foot-tall palm trees. We found bananas and coconuts, and we made a small camping area for the day. Some wild animals came out of the forest and ran away. Conseil was at first frightened.
I thought they were the cannibals.
Don't worry, Conseil. It's not yet lunchtime. We all laughed, then continued looking for fruit and vegetables. We walked through the tropical forest. We were so excited by this new adventure that we forgot where we were walking. We were far from the beach. I felt something small hit my head. I think I was hit by a rock.
A rock?
There's another. Suddenly, we saw others moving through the forest.
Professor, sir, we're not alone.
There were cannibals everywhere. We ran back to the beach. They followed us. They carried spears and shouted in a strange language. We jumped into the boat, leaving all our food and guns behind. They got into the water after us. Some of them came in their own boats. They threw spears at us, but they all missed. We jumped back on the Nautilus and went below. I found Captain Nemo in a small room next to the museum. He was playing the piano. Captain, there are cannibals outside the Nautilus.
The sea, Professor, and music make me feel very peaceful.
Captain, did you hear me?
I did, and there is no reason to worry. The Nautilus is perfectly safe from those outside it.
The captain left the piano and went out of the room. He and some of his men went up and opened the outside door of the Nautilus. Several cannibals looked down inside. One tried to get in, but when his hand touched the ship, he screamed. Another tried the same thing, and he also screamed. Soon, all of them swam away.
You see, Professor, there is electricity around that door. Anyone who touches it feels great pain.
I felt terrified. The captain had everything he needed to protect himself and his men. He also had everything he needed to keep us prisoners.